will say, have any of y'all watched? I think Ashley, you turned me on to this. How much of that show? Was it a toy store near you or something like that? What's it called on
Yeah,
Amazon Prime?
a toy store near you.
Yeah. Have you gotten far into that at all?
I have. I've watched every one.
What do you think of that? How you like that? Isn't that
Dude,
great?
they're great. They're absolutely great. I just
Uh,
look at, the stories are interesting, and listening to, the people talk shop, and especially through COVID, how hard it is to keep things open. But
yeah,
if
I
you
do
look
get
at it
tired of hearing that
scale,
storyline though.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
God, like, I mean, I get it. Each one has to have their story, and it's a bummer either way.
yeah.
But no, man, they all them stores. Every one of them I see, I'm like, God, I want to go. I want to go into that store.
Just looking at the shelves, I'm like, oh my god! And that one in
Uh,
Indiana, the one I
yeah.
texted you about,
And
what
I think we were near there before. Me and Candy, we've flown to Indianapolis before for a wedding, and I'm sure we've been near that place. I mean, I would love to go there.
dude, yeah, that looks like the toy mecca right there. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do, because I'd probably have like a fistful of cash, and I'd be like just stuck. Like, what do I buy? Because it's so much. It's overwhelming looking at all the cool stuff they have. So have you seen it, Ray?
I Austin don't tell me nothing. He
Oh,
don't
I
fill
mean,
me in.
listen. I've been sick, so y'all got to hush. But no, we were talking about this show. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called A Toy Store Near You, and they basically each episode, it's like a 30-minute episode each one, and they just chronicle of Toy Store and talk about like
That's
their
cool.
what they do, some of their specialties, but then I think just about each one here, because it's kind of a COVID era show. Each one they'll have a segment where they talk about how the COVID has struck that place. Like either it's still closed or they were closed for a time, and then they've done nothing but shipping and stuff like that. So it's sad. Like, but other than that, I mean the shows. I mean they have a lot of great like selections in each episode. Usually that person has a specialty. Not only that is they'll do like the personality of the person that runs the place.
Hmm.
Like the guy he was the punk rock band or whatever. I'm trying to remember the name of the
Awesome.
band. That was the Indianapolis guy, right? Or was that somewhere else?
No,
Where's the place where
that's
they were on Nerd Row? I'm trying to remember that episode. It was so cool. It was like in
why
some
they had
town.
like the gaming store and the comic shop and everything else right there.
It was like Geek Street, I think is what the place was.
Geek
They actually
Street,
called
yeah,
it Geek Street, and they had like it was cool. It was in this random town, and the mayor. Every time they would cut to the mayor, he would have like he had like a Slave One, either a model or just the toy. It may have even been the Lego set.
I think it
I
was
think it
Lego
might have been.
set. Yeah.
I think it was the Slave One Lego set, and he had like a lightsaber behind him, like a replica lightsaber, and yeah, I'm sitting there thinking, and every time they cut to this mayor, and he keeps talking about it, but they've got like Geek Street, and then they'll have like the toy store, and then there was there was a record store and a tabletop gaming store and stuff like that.
I want to say that's it, the Indiana store, but
I think it
man,
was,
they're
but maybe
they're
not. I don't
all
know.
they're all getting combined in my head right now. The first season was okay. There's really only one or two I was interested in. There's five TV shows, because one was like Japanese, and she sold like I don't know, fiddly fart crap, like stuff stuff Japanese
Tchotchkes.
anime. Yeah, just stuff I'm not interested in. And another one was similar. Another one was more records or something like that I wasn't really interested in. But then
Yeah,
this season was pretty good.
it's crazy. It really makes you wonder like how you would run your store. Like if we could run a toy store.
Oh God.
Like, I mean, my thing is I would probably be so OCD about everything. Just
Yeah.
because of all my experiences when I go into toy stores, and I love them all, and I support every one of them. But I mean, a lot of them are understandably kind of slobby because it's a bunch of
Yes.
dudes, a bunch of younger, or just like bros or dudes that just we're nerds and we don't care about all that other stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, you got to have a clean joint, and you got to have it presentable. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I'd be so OCD, but no, it would man, I definitely have to have a section for myself where it's all like just the movie tie-in. It's like movie tie-in figures, and it would have to be
Yeah.
everything from 80s. I mean, for however far back you can go. I mean, 70s, 80s to today, if you want to. But I mean, I would definitely want it to be heavy on the like the 80s and 90s movie tie-in stuff. That would just be really cool to collect because there's gonna be a bunch of Kenner.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think it would be hard for me, and just because I've actually tried to do this in the past, just an online version of it. When I ran this little company called Statues or Busts, and I was selling like comic book related, mini busts and statues and stuff. It was hard because I'm a collector too, and I know these people in these videos are collectors too. So it's hard not to just want to keep this stuff and not sell it. I mean, like you get in all this cool stuff and you start unboxing and you start looking at it like, oh, that'd look good on the shelf over here. Let
Right.
me just, if I sell 3 of these, I can make up one of those, and for myself, kind of
whenever
deal.
anytime someone's in the store and they're looking at it, they're saying like, I want what do you want? Huh? Go the one right behind you. Huh?
No, that one's not for sale. That one's not for sale.
I'd be like, oh, this one. Oh,
No, you just gaslight them. You deny that it's there at all. Make them question reality by the end of it.
It's like, oh, that need that? Like, sir, no.
You want that original Boba Fett prototype figure? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have stuff from that store just hanging out, just because at a certain point I didn't invest enough money into it, so I didn't buy enough in volume to like really make money at it, and so I got out of it relatively cheap, and I had inventory that I just kept. I think I gave you some Christmas presents at times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, I've there's some of my favorites. It's like the Qui-Gon. I've got Qui-Gon, Darth Vader, Greedo, Han.
Yeah, and that was Statues or Bust.
Yeah.
I mean, and then some of the stuff I've sold just over time. But yeah, I still have like Bowen design stuff, like a Marvel Sasquatch and a Mary Jane statue, and some really cool stuff that I probably need to try to sell. I hate selling stuff. I mean, shipping online, because you have to deal with the orders and then packing it all up, and then the risk you take if it breaks, and then that's on you as a seller. It's just it's I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm the same way. I sell stuff on eBay, and it's nerve wracking because I'm like I said, I'm OCD. I want to make sure people get their stuff, get it quick, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I don't want to. Yeah, and I don't want it to get messed up, so I'm just trying to bubble wrap it just the right way and all that. But it just gets a hassle. And plus, I mean, it's a lot of money. You start spending a lot of money on shipping, but
especially to ship it right. I mean, buying the bubble wrap and all that kind of good stuff. I mean, it costs money, and then paying the PayPal fees and.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. You pay all those fees and everything, and plus you don't come out that far ahead. But I mean, people are out there that really want some of everything. So it's fun. It makes me wish, like I wish I had a toy store, because I'm telling you, I would just play with everything. I'd be running all through there, just playing with stuff and trying to be, real encouraging and goofy with the customers and stuff like that, and try to be engaging. As I'll tell you, because that's another thing. I really critique, customer service skills and things like that when I go into those places, any place, but especially when it comes to those places, I'm like, you've got to have it, because I mean, not only are you doing this, because anybody can go and sell toys, but you gotta have personality with it too, to get them people to come back. And a lot of times I go into these places and they leave you wanting. I mean, they're kind of like not much to the imagination or whatever, not much to the
personality breeds loyalty. Like
for sure.
Example, like, dude, just tonight we got that place I keep telling you about, Son's Doner Kebab. The German place we keep going to.
Yeah, this sounds so great.
Yeah, we went there tonight. We ordered our typical thing before we went there, and it was packed when we got there. And I went inside, and I'm just standing waiting in line, because I'm forever patient with this guy, because I love his food, and he's always nice to me. He knows us now. And he saw that I'd been waiting there for a bit, and I was fine waiting. he just grabbed the bag, came over and handed it to me, and just said, "Don't worry about paying." Just like,
Wow.
and I was
I
like,
had a similar. No, I had a similar
like,
experience, man.
Yeah, he like it's eternally loyal to that place now. We'll never not love that place.
Man, that's crazy. See, I love stuff like that, and I would just love to have that kind of a connection with customers that come into the stores and stuff like that. But I was sitting there thinking, toys.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any upcoming toys that they're thinking of? I mean, like anything coming out this year that you're just like, I gotta have it.
Do you want to go first, Ray, or?
Anything I can think of, it's either not new or it's predictable. Like there's some like Mandalorian stuff coming out this year. I love it. Like I'd love to get the Bo-Katan figure coming up. I'd love to get her.
My wife is like adamant. She's like, if you don't pre-order that, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's over. She is a Bo-Katan fanatic.
Well, and also I love that it's using the Katie Sackhoff live action version as the model. So and it looks great. Like it looks just like her. That I'd love to get that. I think I saw Moff Gideon, yeah.
And Asajj Ventress looks really good.
Yeah,
oh God, yeah.
I would love to get that. We have we have Cad Bane set up now in my wife's office, and I set him up. Like she didn't really know how to set him up first. Like she couldn't figure out how to get his pistols in his hands. So I actually set him up with like a little dual gun Western stance.
Nice.
A lot of the stuff I love is movie tie-in type figures, like just the movies that I really like. Like I think I'd love to get a John Wick figure. I don't know why. I would love a John Wick figure. Yeah. I saw one at Books A Million, and it's like $29.99, and I've been like telling myself, why have I not bought it yet?
Diamond Select one.
Yeah, I think it's based off I think his John Wick 2 outfit, which is like the all black tuxedo that he wears, the tactical suit he wears. That's it. I'm tempted to buy it. I may end up buying it before long. You may end up like seeing it on my back wall at some point soon.
Do it. I want to get that and like the Terminator 2 figure, the NECA.
Good luck.
Exclusive. Either that or I found it at a Target. But I haven't been able to go back to grab it since, but maybe it's still there. I know it's kind of a random one. I don't think anybody's going to really mess with it. Hopefully,
I'd love to get Carl. I'd love to get the Carl figure. Like I would love to. Like,
yeah.
I mean, as like maligned as Dark Fate was, he was like one of the best parts of it to me.
I mean, it was good. I mean, it was and I would like to get him and Sarah, like old Sarah and young Sarah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if she can hear me. I think one thing I'm probably gonna get for my wife soon is I think I've told Austin about this. I think I'm gonna pre-order her that Drizzt figure that y'all. I found out very well because she started reading those books and she loves like that character now. She's been reading through his series.
So she's reading the Dark Elf trilogy now?
Well, not at the moment. She's already finished, I think, the first trilogy. So I guess that's the Dark Elf trilogy. So I think she's going to read some of the other stuff next. But she's reading something else right now.
Gotcha.
But she's reading, like, she's all over the place right now reading different books. So it's hard to keep track of what she's reading at any time. But I saw that. Yeah, it's like, I think it's not that bad a price either. I'm probably going to pre-order it soon.
Yeah, I saw 29 or 39 or something.
It's 39, yeah, but it's a big
39.
It's decent though because you get that and you get his
Panther thing.
His Panther. Yeah.
What'd you say, Austin?
That's really cool. Now I was going to say that I would definitely love to get that. I saw that there was the Drizzt figure, and there was something else that was like I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're coming out with that. Oh, the Coheed and Cambria 2-pack. I don't know if you follow that comic. So, yeah, but there's the band, and then they did the comic series. I think Boom is the one put out those comics, right, Ashley? Or
I don't know. I don't follow Boom Studios that much, but
I think it's Boom Studios. Yeah. So they're putting out they did put out the Good Apollo 4 adaptation, and then they just come out with NECA just did these. I think it was NECA did these figures for Coheed and Cambria, and it looks really cool. So so yeah, that would be really neat to have. I'll tell you the thing I'm dying to get is the Bill and Ted in action figures, the ones that they look like the cartoon version
Mhm.
of Bill and Ted. I want those so bad for some reason. Just that and the Toonie Beetlejuice. I'm still looking for that. Still, it should be out though now. I think it just come out in a new wave, so I'm sure it'll hit stores at some point. But
Hmm.
that's like the big thing.
Speaking of NECA, I did retrieve something that I said I was going to be retrieving. Check it out. It's the Sam Fisher from Splinter
yeah.
Cell Conviction NECA
Mhm.
figure.
Nice.
Yeah,
See, it
finally
looks
got
so
it.
good.
Yeah, it's a
looks
great
so good.
figure.
What year did that come out?
God, 2010 maybe 2009, 2010. I want to say it was around that time. Yeah,
It's crazy.
So I don't think I've ever had but like one NECA figure in
Okay.
my whole life. I've been hearing some horror stories about NECA here lately.
Oh,
And
really?
from
really.
yeah,
Wow.
and from some prominent people on the YouTube scene,
Mhm.
just about the quality control of the figures, how kind of they break apart real easy, like you just get them out of the package and move an arm and it just falls off, kind of deal. Have you heard about any of this or?
I haven't experienced it. Thankfully.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say I haven't experienced it. That's nothing that I've experienced personally or heard about. But I mean, I'm not gonna shoot it down. But that's a shame if it is.
I would
And
say because how some of their figures are set up, I could see how it could be plausible for some stuff like my Nathan Drake figure here. He comes with like multiple hands and multiple heads that you have to remove, and
Yeah.
he comes with like 2 heads and like I think 2 sets of hands, which you can pull off and remove and replace. And I guess that could definitely potentially become a problem if you're doing that a lot. If you're taking stuff off left and right,
Well, this seemed to indicate like just normal pulling it out
poor
of the package
construction
and just normal,
just falls off apart.
yeah, just putting it up in a stance or something, and it just kind of breaks. So I don't know.
I will say, speaking of NECA, I guess would you guys like me to share? I actually had some really good Christmas presents this year
Okay,
from
go
my
ahead.
mom of all people. Well, first off, we were talking about NECA, so
Shredder.
Get the Super Shredder.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Oh man, I'm so psyched that I get to see that finally.
Heck yeah!
Now,
He's huge.
tell me this
He
though.
is huge.
I was going to say, like, have you stood him up next to the turtles to see how they compare with them in size?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's huge. Like I said, he's big, way bigger than they are.
So
Yeah, I usually set him in my glass case.
So you could do the part. So you could set up a diorama of the scene from the movie where he's actually Who is it that he holds up? Is it Leo? Isn't it Leonardo?
I think it was Leo because he was just like,
he
you
picks him up
got
and throws him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, you could definitely do it because he's, like I said, he is huge, and I don't know, it's just like he's hefty, he's top heavy, so he's like,
I hear
like
in his
you're
off
saying,
time.
you can call it, huh?
I was going to say, I hear in his off time that he's actually a pro wrestler.
Yeah, it pretty is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Kevin Nash was
he
a boss, man.
Yeah, did you know that, Ashley?
No, I didn't. Kevin Nash played Shredder.
Super Shredder.
Or the Super Shredder. They just got him for this. Yeah, he was the one playing. This is Kevin Nash's body. So this is basically a wrestler,
Wow.
I was shocked when
that's the bottom line.
After I found out who Kevin Nash was, I remember seeing like the credits for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 play, and all of a sudden I saw Super Shredder, Kevin Nash, and I was like, "The Kevin Nash, the Kevin Nash I watch on WCW, really?
NWO, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash,
right? Yeah,
Wolfpack, the New World Order,
what?" But man, no, I got that. But I'll tell you something that real special. I got.
Oh no, you didn't. Is it the Toy Biz or the Superpowers?
Yeah, boom. I think this is actually the Superpowers. This is the '84 figure. I think
it's got holes in the feet.
Holes in the feet.
That's Superpowers.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got holes in the feet.
Superpowers.
Nice. I was trying to say though, he did have he had a copyright somewhere. I thought I had '84 on here somewhere because I think that's what
probably
what
was
year
back
it was.
Oh,
It
hamstring.
really reminds me of the
Or
Superman
butt.
from the Superman figure they use in Robot Chicken. He kind of reminds me of it. I don't know if it's the exact one. I doubt it, but it
Oh,
looks
shit.
a lot like it's got that pale blue color.
Oh yeah, but what's really cool is look how intact the shield is on this cloth cape.
Where did
Like
you get
that's
it?
insane. I guess eBay. My mom and Candy conspired together and got this.
Murder.
That is awesome.
Murder,
yeah,
murder was done for it.
Dude, this was my first toy I ever had, or I could ever remember. I took this guy everywhere with me, everywhere.
There's some poor toy collector in a barrel buried that your mom and Candy like put 6 feet underground while he's just screaming for them to let him out.
Right.
So does your wife listen to the podcast?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering how she figured this out. How she figured out to go get that.
I don't know. That's kind of weird. Maybe I had mentioned it before. Like, I wish I had that Superman at some point. I'm just like one of those people. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of money on a toy, like unless it's justifiable. But a lot of times, I'm like, I just can't drop $100 on a figure. But I don't want to know how much they dropped on him. I mean, I'm sure not too much because he's used. He's got a little some nicks here and there, but he's in fairly.
He looks pretty good. I mean,
he's in pretty great condition. Like I said, he's only got look, you can see like where some of the paint is nicked off and stuff right here. I mean, but nothing major. And like I said, this right here to me was the best part. I'm like, I could not believe how in shape this cape is. I mean, this cape is like in great shape. So yeah, best Christmas present, man. Yeah, so for sure,
that's awesome.
A touch of your childhood is always a good, especially with this. I mean, this is a crappy Christmas, so it was kind of a really good touch. So
you got a lot of super for there. Super Shredder, Superman.
Right, right. I'm telling you, man. And then you got me the Injustice. This big.
Did you read it?
Oh, sweet.
No, not yet. I'm going to read it though, but I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet.
Is that like the omnibus of?
I think so. It's Gods Among Us Year 1.
Okay, so that's the whole Year 1. Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. So like I can't wait. Even Candy grabbed this from me and said she wants to read it. So I'm like, she's going comic book crazy.
Tom Taylor did all of Year 1, didn't he?
He did, but it's like a different artist on each.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one it's only these, right?
Well,
I think those are the main credited ones.
Okay. There's quite a few artists in there.
I will say though, the art's really good. I mean, it's really this looks really good.
I want to say Injustice writing Injustice helped kind of pull Tom Taylor up through the ranks, didn't it? Because I think DC probably thought that was going to end up being a one-off that not be, that'd be easy to probably throw aside, if it didn't get enough. But I think he just kept climbing and climbing. People just kept like loving it and wanting more of it.
I think they're what now in they're doing a prequel series for it.
Yeah, it's become a popular universe. Like because you can take so many risks and also you can take that risk that you can't do in the main universe of the no take backs. If a character dies,
you can kill him and it doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
As far as I know, Joker has not come back.
No, he hadn't. Yeah. So the new one is on. You can read on the DC Universe app. Because I think they release it day and date on the app. So if you pay for the subscription, you get to read the latest issue. So that's pretty cool. I need to catch up on it. I'm still hammering through a bunch of DC Rebirth stuff, trying to catch up to the latest, in the continuity.
What I'm trying to read right now is I have this. I just got this. Showed it to Austin recently.
That's
Earth
nice.
1 Volume 2. I love I'm a big fan of the Earth 1 series, and I loved Volume 1 of Green Lantern. So I finally saw it, and I just decided, hell with it, and grab it. And I'm getting through it. It's really cool. It's kind of set up almost like a space mystery at first.
Yeah.
So
how are y'all feeling about the Snyder cut of Justice League coming up?
I thought you were going to ask about the election and be topical, Austin.
Gosh. I mean,
Snyder cut might be topical right now with all the junk going on.
I'm ready for
what junk are we talking about? Are you talking about the Ray Fisher junk?
Yeah.
They've done, but that's the thing though, is it's already done. They've done silence the poor guy. He's done. He's fired. It's pretty unfortunate. I mean, unless he's being like a drama queen, the way they're trying to paint him to be.
And I think
The
the
hard
truth
thing
probably
about
falls somewhere in the middle. You know,
Probably.
He-
There's definitely some hurt feelings there. I don't
Mhm.
understand the whole story, but there's definitely. I mean, he could be 100% in the right, and they're totally screwing the guy. But I don't know. I mean, sometimes I also understand too that sometimes people create their own environment. I hate to say that, but sometimes they do. They'll play a victim and swirl up all this stuff when in reality they're just hard to work with and nobody likes them because they're just hard to work with. You
Well, I
can't.
will say
you
in
know.
his defense, though, he does have, a lot of his co-stars in the movie do seem to be backing him up. Like especially like Jason
Right.
Momoa, he's backed him up.
In regards to the Joss Whedon stuff, it definitely seems like everybody is pretty unanimous saying they didn't have a great experience filming
Yeah.
it. So that's where I give him credit because like he was right there. So he's probably, like you said, it's probably somewhere in the middle. If
Yeah.
not, he is completely in the right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just an unfortunate situation, but that withstanding, I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to see what he's
Yeah.
going to do with this new cut.
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like it's not going to be the 4-episode thing anymore.
They're
It's
just
like
gonna
a
make it one.
4-hour movie. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just some of the stuff I've been hearing now is like just one 4-hour movie.
Well, speaking of which, did y'all watch Wonder Woman 84?
You did?
Yeah.
Y'all didn't like
Yeah.
it?
Okay.
It was hit and miss for me. I'll go ahead and go out the gate on it. It was hit and miss. I didn't hate it. It definitely wasn't as good as the first one. Wonder Woman was a great movie. 84 had its moments.
I'll give you that,
84 had its moments. It was like, I mean, I like the 80s, references, and especially like when the tone of the color palette and everything in the movie shifted. Stuff like that was good. There was a lot of cringy moments, especially when it came to, of all people, I'm sorry it came with Kristen Wiig. She was funny, but when she first starts, it's almost like, it's kind of like watching, it was like, am I watching Batman Forever again? Because I'm like, I've watched Batman
Yeah.
Forever, and then I watched Amazing Spider-Man 2, and now I'm watching Wonder Woman 84. But at the same time, it's like you can't help. It's the setup of the the person who's like the nerd or the unlooked at lowly peasant person who becomes the hot villain or whatever or the powerful villain. It's whatever. But I really liked Pedro Pascal's character. He was great. Maxwell Lord, right? Is that his name? Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
He was great in
He
it.
had a different take on him, but
Yes, it
but
was.
I think
Sadly,
Yeah,
a different
but
take.
other than that, I don't see. That's the thing is, I don't have the reference material on any of this stuff. All I can say is, I like when Kristen Wiig, her arc started getting better. I did like when she started getting more and more like serious and more like kind of out of control a little bit. I really liked that, and when she became Cheetah, I thought the Cheetah design looked really cool. I thought that Cheetah fight was pretty cool. It could have been better, but it was cool. I liked like the Wonder Woman armor when she had all that stuff. I liked. I mean, I like there were key moments in the movie that were great, but then there were so many cringy moments in that movie, and overall, it just wasn't to me. Overall, I just didn't have fun watching it. It was just kind of a weaker movie to me for some reason. But man, there were just some moments where I'm like, who signed off on this? Like the part where they're in the car chase and they pretty much do a donut in the car, and she just kind of goes, "All right, I'll be right back," and steps out of the car and runs. It looked god awful. Like me and Candy both laughed at that moment, and we couldn't help it. It was like, whew. Like we went back and watched it again, and it's just like it never got better. It just I feel like there were some other moments like that where it was just where the CG was so
swinging to get the kids. Swinging.
It makes me
wonder
if
kids
there
off
were
the
some,
road there.
It makes me wonder if there were some I wonder if that's just kind of like a casualty of doing post production in a COVID environment.
I don't know,
probably, or it could just be. I mean, to me, it was either that, or it could be that. Number one, I hear that a lot of times these directors, like in like the Marvel universe and stuff, a lot of times aren't able to really direct their own action. So a lot of times it's kind of like in another department entirely, and they don't even get to do anything with it. So I'm wondering if it was kind of out of her control. and just whoever was allocated to do it, they didn't do it, or it was completely in her control and she ruined it. That's where people are trying to point the finger, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, I don't know. It was just, I'll say this: the movie was okay, but it definitely wasn't that great. And there are people that are just going like fairy dust over this movie, and I'm like, whoo! I'm like, okay, guys, we can't, like, there's enough drinking the Kool-Aid in this country that we've got to be real with each other and just say the movie's mediocre.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it, but yeah, I will definitely acknowledge, that it was not perfect at all. But
right,
yeah, I
right.
mean, it's just like as a story though, especially like I really like Diana's personal story that she went through. Basically,
Yeah,
her
yeah,
having
she was. I mean,
like
that's
her
always the
moment where
saving grace to me.
yeah, like her, well, especially Chris Pine. Her, especially once Chris Pine showed up. I love their little story arc they had because the moment where she really had to say goodbye to him. And you know at the end or
oh,
toward the end, that was really good acting,
it
like
was.
on both their parts. Like yeah, like especially from Gal, like where when she's just running and like all this emotion just like exploding through her. It was just yeah, it had its great enough moments where like a lot of times for me, like as long as you can have those great powerful moments, a lot for me that can make up for a lot of flaws that come beforehand.
Yeah, yeah. No, I really liked a lot of the action and stuff in it, but it felt like I think the weak point was probably the action in this movie. I just wish they could have done something else, just a something. I mean, and it's not even this movie. I'm starting to see this with a lot of movies where they're. I don't know if they're just some of them are running on fumes, like where they're just not crossing the wires where they're like, okay, we've got to come up with memorable moments. Like you can't just be like, I mean, I hate to say it, but I was going through Rise of Skywalker yesterday or the day before or something like that. We were watching the Star Wars series and watching Rise of Skywalker. When we got to the end of it, it was just the action sequences were just so like bing, 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 but nothing major. So it was just. So I just wonder if sometimes it's just one of those things where you're focused in other areas and then it just kind of falls through the cracks, so you don't give it everything you had, that go. I mean, I get it. It happens because you focus on the story more, you focus on characterization. So you just kind of go, well, I didn't really think about making a a toyetic, action scene or something like that. I'm like, okay, I get that.
You know, so when I watched it the first time, I thought it was very mediocre. It wasn't the worst DC movie, wasn't nearly the best, uh, but it has some. To me, it has some serious issues. The CGI being one of them. I mean, there's some. Oh my gosh, this looks horrible. Kind of. I can't believe they let that pass. Kind of moments in there. There was just some oddball decisions made. Um, like when he wishes to be the stone and he doesn't turn into the stone, he turns in. Like I want to be the stone, but you're not. I mean, and the stone goes away. You think he would turn into the stone, but he didn't. So I was waiting
Or
for
some
that.
stone monster.
Yeah, or some stone monster or something. Something like that.
I guess that can kind of be hand
He
waved
turns into the Rock.
about the rules setup that they read, about the god, the monkey paw kind of stuff
Yeah,
about it. Whereas in like he wishes for it, so the god who created it, I guess he has it kind of instilled in it. So yeah, well then he's going to be the vessel of all this destruction now.
and then
So
the whole Chris Pine thing, not being Chris Pine, but being some
that was
other dude.
mhm.
I was like, okay, you can bring up walls around a city out of nowhere. You can make missiles disappear, but you can't bring Chris Pine back. You
Back
got
from
to
the dead.
bring him into somebody else's body where
Yeah, it
only
was
she sees him.
that was a bit odd. Yeah,
Uh, so that was kind of odd. And then two, they played this movie up as an '80s movie, Wonder
mm,
Woman 1984. There was no '80s music in it.
That
This
is
is the
true. I've noticed
perfect
it was
time
lacking.
to introduce like just a pop culture playlist from the '80s throughout this movie. But I mean, it's like why did you not take advantage of that? I mean, if you
yeah.
go back and look at the Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, yeah, they were okay movies, but I think I remember them because of the
Because
soundtrack.
yeah,
and I remember that scene because it has this song in it that there's nothing like that in Wonder Woman 1984.
I mean, it's strange considering that they're big. I think the debut trailer used Blue Monday, like an instrumental version of it, and I loved that. I loved how they used it in the trailer.
And I was expecting something like that throughout the movie. I didn't get it, and then there were certain scenes that just took. It's like, why are we spending so much time on this? Like her learning how to fly. Okay, let's cut that in half. Okay,
I will say this movie. I feel like
flying.
Yeah, this movie could have been trimmed down. I personally feel like this movie could have been trimmed down to a good, probably below 2 hours, and it would have been. It probably would have even hit better. Maybe that's part of it too. But I don't know. I mean, it didn't grab me like the first one, but I didn't hate it. I've definitely seen worse.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. And then I went and watched it again. I've watched it several times since. So I mean, and okay, the second time I can forgive some of the CGI stuff, and I'm just starting to forgive things in the movie, and it's getting better every time I watch it. So, if I'm ranking the DCEU movies, it's not at the top, but it's not at the bottom.
I don't think we've ever discussed this. What would be in the DCEU? What's at the bottom for you?
Oh God, obviously Justice League. It doesn't even belong on the list. Actually, I don't even consider that.
I'll say that's too easy. I would say that's too easy. Let's not count the Justice League. So what would be at the bottom if Justice League, we're not counting it?
I would say probably Suicide Squad.
Does Green Lantern count?
No, it's not DCEU.
So you got Man of Steel. Yeah, you got Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman 1984, Suicide Squad.
I mean, heck, I hate to say that, but it might.
Also.
Oh, Birds of Prey
is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 84, Wonder Woman 84 might be on the bottom of that one for me, just in terms of like what we've got. Because I mean, to be honest, they've got a good list. If I'm trying to pick out weak ones, I mean, Shazam wasn't my favorite, but the 84 might have been the weaker one. The Justice League too. I mean, that one. If we took that one out, yeah. I mean, because Justice League was pretty weak, but Justice League was still fun though. That was the thing though. Even though you could say like, "Oh, Justice League," it was a lot of action, and I still laughed my butt off at it. I mean, like good Flash moments. Batman had some good moments. I mean, it was still, it was redeemable, but it was still, you could tell there was something way off with it. Way off.
Batman smiling. There's nothing redeemable about a Batman smiling.
What do you mean? All my Batman have smiled at least once.
What did you say? Something about when he's rolling over? I think.
Does your Batman do this?
Wait! After Clark threw him down the ground, I definitely broke some bones there. I definitely broke something. Yeah, something.
I mean, Batman with one-liners. Come on, that's
that was probably all Whedon doing that crap.
It was, and I'm like, okay, if you give me Adam West's Batman, I can accept Adam West's Batman because I know what I'm signing up for. But I've had Batman versus Superman to get to know Batman. Then I get Justice League where I get Adam West Batman, or not quite Adam West Batman, but Val Kilmer, George Clooney kind of Batman.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with George Clooney Batman.
Oh my God! Okay.
You hear me? There's nothing wrong with George Clooney Batman.
I tried to show my kids Batman and Robin during the
tried. They wouldn't watch it.
They didn't get through it.
As I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show.
One-woman show.
Everybody freeze.
My brother. My brother. That movie is the most quotable movie. Me and my brother it was so quotable. It could be anywhere. We would be out in the middle of the night riding four-wheelers and just stop, and it would be dead quiet, and he would turn around and look at me and go, "And you are?" And I'd be like, poison ivy.
I got excited. When you're a kid, we never even thought about this stuff. We were just thinking this is the new Batman movie. We went and saw it and we loved it. But man, going back when you're older, and especially now, like really knowing the context of it and what Schumacher was doing and stuff like that, it really feels like he was watching episode after episode of Adam West Batman movies, looking for like puns for his villains to say, like, because almost every single line that came out of Arnold and Uma's mouth feels like an Adam West Batman era pun.
Yeah.
I feel it seems like such a fun little window in time that I
Yeah.
wish that as my age now, go back in time and live as an adult in from 95 to 97 and try to like and let's say we're living in this alternate world where they're marketing this movie way different, where we get the same commercials for the kids, but they're also going like for us, they're like, you want to come see this movie, and it's like, oh, you mean you want us to come take drugs and come see your movie?
Yeah.
Because it's just like, okay, I get it. Because I could see that I could see those movies being like now being these huge college events to go and razz on them and just
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying, and just have a good time. But obviously, I bet there'll be a lot of people imbibing on some crazy, or just have some crazy things in their systems. They're like, this movie is insane, bro. I'm like, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. But it's just, yeah, it's just. I mean, it's just such wacky. Well, more so Batman and Robin than Batman Forever, but they're both wacky movies. But they were just fun times because it was sort of like they were coming off of this cockiness with the Batman franchise, where we had Batman and Batman Returns, and he was such a huge cultural icon at this point that it's like we could do no wrong. But Batman Returns was so dark. We're gonna make kids movies, so they're gonna make like like live action animated Batman movies. So
And put neon everywhere. We want to have neon everywhere.
It was like if it wasn't somewhere they just they had like spray paint just behind, like on the camera. Joel would just be like, "Oh guys, just, like it would be glow in the dark. It'd be glow in the dark like neon paint."
Yeah, that was a crazy thing. Yeah, that was something I did notice. Like, upon watching Batman Forevermore, it was the stark, like, all of a sudden after Batman Returns, every bad guy, every like low level thug in Gotham, loved to like put spray paint, like neon spray paint on their face.
That's what gangs do.
Or just like they had like all the wristlets, like all the glow in the dark wristlets and bracelets.
These are the worst criminals ever. They're me like a siren trying to, like, as the cops are chasing after them. Oh, there he is.
I'm surprised we didn't have him.
There he is. He's down there.
I'm surprised it's like we didn't get a Batman, like the movie didn't revolve around him trying to bust like some drug ring, but it's like this made up, like, kind of like Gleeman X or something like that, where it's because I mean the place just had this one of those futuristic like drug cities where it's like everybody's high, everybody is tripping on some stupid drug, and then it's tied. Yeah, and it's tied into the villain or like the villain of the town, and it's like it was just such a fever dream, both of those movies.
Yes,
but no, with the new DC universe, I'm enjoying it. I wish they would. I don't know. I really want to see a movie that resonates the way something like when I watch Marvel, like Winter Soldier. Just the beats and like the, I don't know, where the writing and the action, all that hits. I'm ready for that movie. So I mean, Aquaman was great. I thought. I mean, Batman, to me, I always loved like the Superman movies were great. Like Man of Steel was great. I don't know anybody that talks crap about any of the Superman movies. I don't get it. I don't understand anybody's problems with them. I mean, I really don't. So that and Batman versus Superman to me were always good. I even really like Suicide Squad. Like I really like knowing that it was flawed and knowing that I don't like. I'll tell you right now, the worst part of the movie was the villain. I hated the ending to the movie. I hated the villain, but for some reason that movie was just so fun to me that I just enjoy watching it.
Yeah, like I and Austin knows, like, I love Suicide Squad too. Like, and my wife loves it too. But she oh God, who was it? I got her into Harley Quinn. She really likes Harley Quinn now. After that, but
my wife. I think that's probably how my wife got into it because was through Suicide Squad.
And I was interested in it because before Suicide Squad got made, I actually started reading some of the Suicide Squad books, and Deadshot became like he's one of my more favorite like DC kind of anti-hero villain type characters now. So I was really interested in seeing it. I was interested in once Will Smith got cast as him, but I was a little hesitant, mainly because when you have a name that big and you have a character that is really known for wearing a mask that covers the whole face, and they ended up doing what I expected they were going to do in the movie was sparingly have him wear his whole face mask. and have him mainly show his face. But I still like how they did his Floyd Lawton. So
yeah, my problem is, and this is a problem I have because I get invested in these things, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can without spoiler material, up to the movie. So I kind of knew what was planned, prior to the movie coming out, and this thing was supposed to be a direct tie-in between, or kind of a bridge between Batman versus Superman and Justice League.
Mhm.
So those little demon things that Enchantress created were not supposed to be little demon things. They were supposed to be parademons.
Really?
And they were protecting. Yeah, they were coming for a mother box, and I can't remember if it was a man. I don't think it was Amanda Waller. I could be wrong. That they were after. I think they were trying to open like the doorway for Steppenwolf to come in. That was going to be the big bad. Steppenwolf wasn't going to be the bad guy, but that was going to be the big bad thing that they were going to have to take down, was these, parademon hive or whatever you want to call it. So, that, knowing that just kind of sucks. That
does kind of disappoint, because it comes back to that studio kind of logic of, if we're going to have a movie that's going to be kind of separate, we're going to end up wanting to make it on its own, make it stand on its own without having to watch previous stuff, I guess. It's that weird stuff,
yeah,
that weird, studio logic.
Yeah, so that's and we could probably do a whole episode on the DCEU,
right?
But
I am excited about the Suicide Squad coming up, though, so I can't wait to see
too.
what James Gunn does with that.
So I know we got to wrap up, but
did you want Ashley?
Yeah,
you never. Tell us sorry.
You never let me tell you what I'm expecting. I'm wanting for this year.
What you want for Christmas?
No. You got plenty of time.
No, the only thing I'm really looking forward to are the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse releases. I know there's going to be some other stuff out there, but they just kind of, they didn't officially release it or tease it, but some stores have revealed, because they've gotten information about pre-orders coming up, the whole Zack Snyder cut Justice League set. So
really?
We're going to be getting 2 versions of Cyborg, with the mask, without the mask, black suit Superman, red and blue suit Superman, of course a Batman, Flash.
I'll definitely have to get some of those then.
Aquaman, a deluxe Steppenwolf, and a deluxe Darkseid. So, and those are going to be like $39.99 figures each.
But is it going to be a Darkseid, or is it going to be Euxis? His
Euxis or whatever. But I'm sure they're going to call him Darkseid, because he was probably Euxis in the history story, and then his Darkseid.
Yeah. I wonder though, because I always, because I always hear how the grand original story is supposed to be for Justice League. All the stuff about kind of going to a bleak future. Something goes wrong originally in the story, and then go to a bleak future, and then Batman has to end up sending Barry back in time to a certain moment to kind of fix everything, and then then it ends. I'm trying to say it without getting too into detail about it, but it's supposed to see. But I remember statue art, I think, of the Flash from that future, where he has like I think he's I like a little, I think it was like a maquette, so I don't know if they ever made a full costume, but I think it's supposed to be similar to the Barry that you see in Batman v Superman, the one that appears to Bruce to try to warn him.
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't seen that, so I'll have to go try to Google that up and look at it if I can find it.
I guess we'll see in a few months.
We'll find out in March.
Yep.
So, yay. All right.
Well, guys, I think that'll do it for this week, man. I guess we'll see y'all next time.
Peace. Later days.